Scrappin' friends, I am so excited to be coming to you with what month are we in? August. It's August 52 scrapbooking project recipe collaboration with my very talented and amazing friend Kimberly Sparks. Um, my video is going to be posting a little bit late. I had some unexpected events yesterday. My pup Gunner and I were out um, on our walk, and we actually got attacked by a dog. Um, anyways, I am fine. Gunner definitely took the brunt of it, but he is doing well and recovering, and I'm sure we will be back out and about on our usual schedule in no time. But as a result, yesterday when I was planning to record my video and get it all ready to go live on Thursday, I was taking care of Gunner, and we were at the vet and getting everything taken care of there. So I apologize for getting this posted late, but it'll be worth the wait. And that's kind of what you have to do sometimes, is you got to pivot, and I'm just glad that it wasn't worse than it was. So anyways, let's get to happier, positive things, and let's talk about some scrapbooking. Kimberly and I have been working on this collaboration. We've been collaborating all year, and see all the little post-it notes that are moved down. Those are the layouts that we have completed, and we only have a few more left for the year. We're going to have to figure out what we're going to do next year, something new and different. So anyways, let's take a look at the sketch for this month. We are using the project recipe number 32. This is a great sketch. We've got 3 5 3/4 by 3 3/4 photos, and 2 3 3/4 by 3 3/4 photos squares, and then these 3 are obviously horizontal, and then 2 vertical photos that are 3 1/4 by 5 1/4 photo. And just so you know, why do they do kind of the sizes that aren't a printable size, like a 4x6? And it's usually to be efficient on the paper. So for example, on these 5 3/4 by 3 3/4 photos, they've used a 6x4 photo mat, which means that they could get 3 6x4 mats out of just one 6-inch strip. And so usually those type of things are more about how efficiently you can use your paper to use the least amount of paper. And that is always something that if you want to cut more paper and use a little bit bigger photo, you definitely could. Now, looking at this sketch and the example that they have, they're using the Something Blue collection for their example. And I'm not a super huge fan of what they did here with the paper. I don't like that they have the one pattern paper on the left page and a different pattern paper on the right page. And then they've layered more pattern paper on that, which then they've layered another piece of pattern paper on that for the double mat. And this is pattern. You guys know how I feel about pattern paper as a photo mat. It's not my thing. So there's definitely a lot of layering of pattern paper on pattern paper on pattern paper. So, but when you look at the sketch or the project recipe without the paper and just the pieces, I think it helps you kind of get a better idea of what you can do. So I'm definitely going to want to use a cardstock for my base, a solid cardstock. I like the pattern paper along either side, which is piece E and G, which are 3 inches wide by 12. And then looking at my pictures, we're going to be changing up how much pattern paper and what we're using for our photo mats and for these strips, which are piece K and L, and this punched piece, and we're going to switch those up. So I've actually pre-cut my pieces, so I'm going to set this aside and show you my photos first. I am using some pictures from Mother's Day, and you may have seen some of these photos before, but this particular layout is going to go into my daughter Cassie's book. So these are the pictures that I've got of us, and I have already pre-printed these in the sizes that they specified. I didn't change the sizes. I did what was specified on the project recipe, and then I've matted them with just some white cardstock. And then I have one more photo there. Let's pull the rest of this in. And like I said, I did cut my pieces already off camera. So I have my photos. And then I pulled out this paper right here. Now, this is a paper that I think was released before I joined Creative Memories. And it was part of some special where I was able to add this to my order, like with a qualifying order, and then you got this paper pack for free. And I think you had some options, and I loved this paper. I liked the color scheme, and I thought it was so pretty. So I ordered this paper, and I have been so excited to use it. And when I was looking at these pictures that I wanted to scrapbook today, and looking at like what paper I had, I instantly thought of this pattern that had the burgundies and pinks in it, which match kind of what we were wearing, and it had this little bit of blue. And then the flowers and blossoms behind us. And so it made me think of this paper right away. And I was like, okay, this paper couldn't be more perfect for these photos. So with that in mind, I started out with a beige base. I had thought about doing white, but I actually liked that there is kind of, I feel like a little bit of a beige color in the background. This is an old enough paper packet. Whenever it was released, they don't actually list the colors on the paper that they insert that comes in the paper packet. So I pulled out some beige cardstock, which worked well because my son was wearing gray, and it was just a little bit of a softer color than the bright white. And then I was thinking about like the strip here, and I was like, okay, who's the album that this is going into is actually Cassie's, and she was wearing this baby blue dress. And I was like, I know that this color right here is kind of a greenish blue color, but I really feel like that if I lay the baby blue on here, it actually is going to pull that color and make it look a little bit more blue rather than the greens in it. And see how that does that? It's like magic. Now, the other thing I can do is I can actually flip this over just a little bit, like flip it around, so that I have some of that blue down on the bottom. I think maybe. I'm trying to decide. I love this paper so much. It's so pretty. I think I do feel like I need that is supposed to be that direction. I feel like those were kind of upside down. So I do think it goes that direction, but I really like these flowers right here. And so I think I want to have it this direction because I want those to show. Okay, so I was like, I'm going to pull the baby blue cardstock because that matches her dress, and we'll pull that blue out of it. And then I needed another color here. Now in the cutting guide, they just used the back side of this paper. So it's a 6 by 12 inch piece, and then they scored it at the 1.5 mark and folded it over, and they had punched either side. So I just cut off my baby blue cardstock to it's a 6 inches by 10.5. And then I was trying to find some blue that kind of matched the back of my house and that looked good with the baby blue. And this is a piece of paper from, I believe it's the Noteworthy Days collection. So it was just a nice wash blue because I didn't really want to necessarily a lot of pattern, but I kind of wanted to pull in that darker blue that matched, that's in the photos with the back of the house, and would look complementary and help the baby blue stand out. So I did try actually using like this burgundy color because that's the color of my dress, and it just blended in with this pattern paper too much when it was sat right next to it. So I just didn't like how that looked. So the darker blue worked perfect. So this is going to come together quickly. So let's lay out our photos here. These two photos come on either side. It's like the layout is kind of a mirror. One side mirrors the other side. So we have these two photos. Okay, I know those are kind of silly photos, but well, that's kind of us. That's Cassie. She's kind of a goofball. So we've got those photos here. And so this is going to be the foundation for our layout. And that's pretty much, I'm actually following the sketch really close. I use the same size pictures, the same layout. The only thing I really have switched on here is where I've used pattern paper, where I've used cardstock to more fit my style and the look that I like. So let's go ahead and quickly I'm going to just glue everything down. And for the sake of time, I'm just going to pause the camera and then I will come back after I've glued everything down. All right, we are back and I have glued everything down. So we are ready to start embellishing our layout. Now, looking at the project recipe, let's see here. They have an embellishment cluster here, one up here, and a little bit down here. So pretty simple, which was probably a good thing with how much pattern paper they used, how busy that layout is with all the pattern paper. So we're gonna go a little different there on the embellishments. So what I have done is I actually didn't have embellishments that coordinated with this collection. I just had the paper packet. And so this is where I kind of went and dug through my stash and also used my Cricut and Design Space and kind of created my own embellishment. Now, I really liked the Japanese or cherry blossom kind of look, and that you've got those in the paper. And I love the blossoms that are behind us in this tree. And it's actually a super sad story. Love this tree. It was beautiful. The blossom, especially in the spring when it blossomed. And after that, these pictures were taken, we had this big windstorm come through and it totally broke the tree off down at the stump. Like it broke and blew it over and I lost that tree and I'm super sad about it because I loved the tree. So anyways, all right, so I want to add my title, which is Mother's Day, and I cut this out on my Cricut and designed it in Design Space. And so I'm gonna put kind of my title like right down here across the bottom. And then I've created some additional embellishments, some flowers, kind of thinking like I had searched the cherry blossoms. So, because I just like that kind of look, and there were all the blossoms. And I found this and I did a little bit of switching it up, like adding these flowers and different things. And I thought that would be kind of pretty right there. And because this is definitely a layout, actually, I think I want this one on the other side, that is kind of mirrored, like the left hand and the right hand are mirrored. So kind of keeping that theme, I am going to bump this one up here. And then this one, we're going to do kind of down here like this. So kind of creating that mirrored effect. I'm not exactly lining those up, but I liked how that kind of looked on the layout to kind of keep that continuity. And then I did think it needed a little bit more, and I found this other cluster when I was searching for Japanese flowers and cherry blossoms that I thought was super cute. So I actually used the print and cut feature and I printed it on cardstock and cut it out. But then the 3 flowers in this cluster, I actually printed and cut those out. And then 3D foam taped it here to them right on top of each other so that I had a little bit of dimension to this cluster. So I have kind of a larger cluster up here, and then these flowers are the same as these ones here. And then I did 2 other ones that I thought would be cute to kind of bring over here and down in this corner. And I definitely don't want it, this pattern paper, my hero paper, is super busy. And so that's why I'm really avoiding that area for embellishing, because it doesn't need anything on there would get lost. And so I'm going to lay it out just like that. So I think it's fun to use my Cricut, and I feel like that Cricut Design Space is getting better and better with the things that you can do. And I do have the like all access pass kind of a thing. So I really like that. And to create kind of my own embellishments. So if you have not played with Design Space, I do highly recommend it. I think it's super fun and a great way to kind of create your own embellishments for your layouts, especially if you're looking for something specific. And in this case, I didn't have like some coordinating embellishments that went with this particular collection. So we're just gonna layer that down there. And this is going to kind of come up there into that corner. This is definitely a cluster I would use or recreate again. I love the different colored and types of leaves on it. I like the bigger and smaller flowers, and it's just super cute. It's a cluster I will definitely go to again, like, and utilize, because I really liked that. So I know a lot of my prep was done off camera today, but you get the idea. And you know what? If you are trying to learn how to use Cricut Design Space, there are so many YouTube like video tutorials that show you how to do things on there. And then really it's just key to kind of get on and play with it and try it out and kind of figure it out that way. So I think that's really helps a lot to. And I like some of the features that they've added in there, like to make stickers or to make a border or an offset. It's made things so much easier. Like things that were used to take multiple steps now are literally a click of the mouse. Like, so that's been really cool to see how Design Space has evolved and gotten better. And then there is the tiniest little apostrophe that I have been like, don't lose it. Don't lose it. It is so tiny. So we're going to make sure we stick that on there. There we go. Whew. That made it onto the layout without losing it. That itself is a miracle. All right, so what do we have left? This is looking really cute. I really like it. I think it just needs that last little bling and sparkle. So I had pulled out a couple of things when I was looking through my supplies. I had these hearts that I saw that I had the different reds and pinks. I don't think I'm going to use them on this layout, but I had pulled those out. I had pulled out these little pretty sparkly things, and I thought they were super fun. But I think with my flowers and different things, I don't think I'm going to use those either. I pulled out these buttons that were sparkly, which I thought were really cute. And I had pulled these out before I had made my flowers. And I kind of feel like they're a little too big. You kind of want to make sure that you have things different sizes on your layout. So like you have your photos, and then I have my flowers, and I have different size clusters. And I don't want like that last blingy embellishment to be the same size as the clusters. I want them, I think, to be smaller. Now I did pull out these paper butterflies, and I actually thought they might be cute to add like on the layout. I was like, oh, these are kind of cute. Let's see, let me pull my tray here and what we've got here. So And I thought, oh, that could be kind of like a fun little extra. I want them to be little. I don't want them to be bigger than the blossoms, you know what I mean? So I was thinking kind of those could be a cute addition. I'm just like separating these because there's like a whole bunch of them. I think those are kind of cute. Maybe adding one over here. I'm thinking in threes, like an odd number, or like now I have like 5 because I have 2 and then 3. If I don't want like that, I kind of like that. Okay. And then I pulled out some other bling. I have some different little Pink Fresh Studios is where these are, and I have gold and kind of a bronze and a different. This one's clear with gold dust, and then this one's the clear drop, like a little sparkle. And I'm trying to decide if I like the what color, if I want silver or if I want gold. Sorry, I kind of had I was like looking at these and I was like, oh, I want another music one so that they're not, some have letters, some have music notes kind of on there. So I was switching that out. Okay. I was trying to decide if I wanted to go more gold tones or silver tones on this layout, and I couldn't decide. So I'm going to kind of play with both because there is kind of this like gold or like color right there. So let's see here. Let's pull out a couple of these. And kind of, these aren't showing up very good that have the gold dust. So I don't think I want to use those. I'm going to dump those back in the tray because I think I need not just the dust. I need, let's try these gold ones. And they have kind of different sizes in here, which I love. So yeah, see, those show up a lot better. Oops. Okay, so that's kind of the gold. And I like that I could kind of, these have the different sizes, and I think adding some of these little ones into this cluster up here. Oh, don't, my friends, you know I am a girl who loves her sparkle, and that just finishes off these clusters so well. I'll just put 2 there. Okay, that's really pretty. All right, here's what I'm going to do. On the left-hand side, I have put the gold ones. On the right-hand side, I am going to put these. These are called champagne is the color of these. So let's put the champagne ones and see if we like the champagne or the gold better. Okay, and then we've got this other little cluster down here. And that's cute, cute. All right. I'm just going to stick that one kind of in there like that. Okay. All right. Gold or champagne? I'm curious. Leave in the comments like which one you think I should go. I think I am going to go with the champagne. I think I like the champagne better. I feel like where I've got kind of this gray tones in here, that the champagne's a little bit softer and the gold is a little too stark, kind of harsh, like almost like, because the idea of these little blings is just to add that little final finishing touch that just finishes it off, but doesn't like, I don't need it to be like overpowering. So I think I'm gonna go with the champagne. I'm curious to see if you guys agree with that decision or if you're like, no, the gold was so much better. Anyways, I'm curious. We'll see what happens. Leave it in the comments. I won't be offended if you disagreed with me. It'll be fine. All right. Okay. I think I want to switch these two because that one's a little bigger. Right in there. Like that. These I really like because they're not super thick too. They're not going to add a lot of bulk to my layout or to the cluster. I think that one's too big. I think I want a little one right there. So these were a good purchase. I'm excited about having these. Okay. I think I want that one to be kind of down in there. Okay. Yep. I do like the champagne color. All right. I am going to just use my liquid glue here and quickly just add kind of a little dot. And then I am using my tweezers to just put these in place. On the layout. And I also need to adhere my little butterflies on there. So this was a great stash busting layout. I pulled a lot of things from my stash on this paper that I'd got was from my stash and I hadn't used yet, so that was fun to use that because I was excited to use that paper. These gems, they were definitely a new thing I had bought this summer when I was actually at the Creative Memory Rose Blossom Scrapbook Convention. We had gone to a really fun scrapbook store that the gals from there love. Like the day we flew in, so we had some time before the convention started, and went to this cute scrapbook store, and that's where I picked these up because I love my bling. Okay, let's add our little butterflies. I want the butterflies to be like, I'm just going to add a tiny little 3D foam tape. This is the thin, and I'm just adding like a thin strip behind the body, and it looks like I need to cut that in half basically because I don't want the leaves necessarily stuck down. So we're going to stick him there. That one there. I like the little butterflies, which was also from my stash. I like that there. Okay, just on the right hand page. All right. And that is going to be a wrap for us. So just as a reminder of a few things while I'm gluing these down, couple of things. First of all, there will be a link to Kimberly's video, and she's using the exact same project recipe. I watch it after I've finished mine because I don't want to be influenced by her awesomeness. So I kind of want ours to be like take our own take on it before I watch hers. It's the treat for finishing my layout. So be sure to look in the description. You're going to find the link to Kimberly's layout. So be sure to go watch hers. Like and subscribe to both of our YouTube channels. We really appreciate that support. And more people who like and subscribe, that helps our page get shared with more people, and we appreciate that. The other thing is if you watch this video here in the next couple of days, I have recently launched a subscription box, scrapbook subscription box, and it's an awesome, I'm so excited about this. I'm really excited to share more scrapbooking layouts with you, but this is how it works. I do my big workshops that have like 6+ layout, 2-page layouts in them. They're big ones, right? But if that feels overwhelming or you want something kind of smaller and faster, my subscription box might be just perfect for you. Even if you like doing the big ones, sometimes having a smaller project is super fun. So in your subscription box, you will receive a half of a paper packet, an embellishment pack, the cardstock, any Cricut cuts or punches that I use will all be in there, and printed instructions of how to cut and assemble the two-page layouts. So 4 pages total, they're two 2-page layouts. And that it currently to subscribe is open right now. It's only going to be open for a few more days. I think I have it open until September 5th. And I'll have to double check that, but I'll put a link in the description. You can sign up right now. You can commit to either 3 months or 6 months. I ship the boxes to you on the 15th of the month. I think all the dates are in the registration information. Now that I'm saying them, I'm like, oh my gosh, am I telling you the right information? So make sure you can check it out. You can even click the subscribe to the subscription box, and it has all the information about like what comes in the box. It's all shipped right to you, so you can pull it out. All you need to assemble them is you're going to want a paper trimmer. You're going to want your own adhesive, some 3D foam tape, things like that. Those basic supplies that we all need. And you'll be able to assemble those 2-page layouts following the printed guide. There's also an exclusive Facebook group where I will share some tips and tricks from the different things that I do on the layouts. So some super cute things on there. And so it's going to be so fun. So the subscription is only open right now until that first couple days of September, and then it closes and it won't open again for 3 more months. So it's a great time to try it out. There'll be a link and information in the description of this video, and I'd love to have you try out my subscription box. It would be awesome. All right, that's it for me today. Happy scrapbooking, and we will see you soon.